This is Brian DM82 and I'm going to show you how to make a background for your game or screensaver or whatever. First thing you got to do is get paint.net. It's a free application for Windows. Better than Photoshop in my opinion because it's a lot faster, loads a lot faster. Doesn't have as many effects or tools, but it'll get you by. Open up a new file. This one I'm going to set up to be 640 by 480. Now you start off with a blank white background, and I'm just going to color it black. And then I'm going to go up to Effects, Noise, Add Noise. Color saturation you want turned all the way down so it's just black and white. Set your intensity and coverage, then click OK. So now you got like a little starry background. Now click Add New Layer and add about 4 of them. Alright. Select your bottom layer. For this, I'm going to make that blue nebula type thing. I'm going to select a really dark color blue and a circle, and I'm going to be drawing with a filled shape. I'm going to draw it up in the upper left hand corner. Kind of make like a circle or oval or whatever. Go up to your next layer and select a little lighter color blue for this layer. Select the little arrow icon to move it around to center it. Then do the same thing with your next layer. Just make it progressively lighter. And then for the very top layer, set it to be white. That way it stands out. Okay, so there's that. Doesn't look too good right now, but once you start blurring everything, it'll look better. So I'm going to go back down to the bottom layer again, that dark blue layer, and blur, Gaussian blur. Radius, I'm going to set up to 80 about. The higher the radius, the more it spreads out. And then that looks good. Then go up to the next layer, do the same thing. Except drop the radius down a little bit. I'm going to go about 60 with that one. Alright. Yeah, kind of got away from my computer. It's like my third time making the same video. Alright, next layer. Blur it down a little bit. Click OK. And then go up to that white dot, and this one you're definitely not going to want to have the radius set so large. I'll keep it at 10. Click OK. Then what you want to do is click this little icon to merge the layers down. That way they're all right on top of each other. Don't merge it down to the background though, or else you won't be able to move your little nebula thing around or whatever. Now once you have all those merged down, you can click on Gradient, go to Radial, and select for the mode Transparency mode, and then select the center of it and just drag it out. And then here you could set, like, if you wanted it to be smaller or something. Alright, that'll be good. Alright, so now I'm going to add that sun looking thing. Just add some more layers. Start from your bottom one and select like an ugly color green. This green ain't going to do too much. It's mainly for coloring the clouds. Once I put some clouds behind it, it's going to kind of turn the clouds green a little bit. Make it look all crazy. Alright, so there's your green circle. Go up to the next layer and start off with yellow. just draw something right over that. Move to the center of that. Alright. This color I'll make orange a little bit. And then this next layer I'm going to make red. And then I'm going to add one more layer for the white dot, and then one layer for kind of like a corona. So I'm going to select that white dot layer and draw a white dot right in the middle. And then for the corona, I'm going to select a shape outline, color red with the brush width of 3, and just draw a circle around this thing. And then I'm just going to center it over that little circle right there. Alright. Start from the bottom layer, that green layer, and go to Effects, Blurs, and just blur the stuff out. For that bottom layer, I'm going to set it up to 100, that way it makes it pretty big. And you can probably just barely see it over here. Alright, then I'm going to go to that yellow layer, do the same thing here, except the radius is going to be a lot smaller. Alright, even that's too big, 55. I'm going to try 30 maybe. Alright, 30 looks good. Next I'm going to do that orange layer. Probably about 20. Alright. That'll be good. 13 for that layer. That's fine. And then for the white dot, look, I really don't even like any of them, so I'll probably redo that white dot at the end. But I'm just going to leave it right there at 5 for now. And now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to leave that corona layer alone. I'm going to start off with that white dot layer and merge it down on top of the other layers till I get down to the green one. Oops, too far. I don't want it in the layer with this blue thing. That I like to keep them separate so you can move around the background and stuff like that. Alright, so here it is right here, layer 3. Looking all crazy. I'm going to go to Effects, Blurs, Radial Blur. And this Radial Blur is good because what it'll do, any mistakes that you made lining stuff up, this will fix it for you. If you can get this thing centered, like perfectly. I probably should have made it a little bit bigger. Made my job a little easier. Alright, I'm just going to keep it right there. I'm going to click OK. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw another white dot on that thing anyway. Whoops, I didn't need that. I'll make that thing bigger. And then let me try that Radial Blur again. Hopefully it fixes that white dot for me. Alright, that'll work. Alright, so that'll be good. Just add that one last blur to it. See if I can make that better. Ah, that's good. Now, let's see, this one, this little corona, I'm kind of going to try to center it on that. Alright, and then I'm going to blur that thing too. Not at 15 though, something small. 8. You know what, screw that thing. I'm going to delete that corona right there. Its width is too thick. What I'm going to do is, instead of brush width 3, I'm going to go down to 1. Draw outline, select red, or something close to it. And then try to send that thing right back over it, and now blur it. And your radius here will, control the effect of it. That right there looks okay. I'll keep it right there at 9. And then I'm going to merge that down on top of that yellow sun thing. Okay, so that looks pretty good right there. So now I'm going to add a new layer. And this layer is going to be for clouds. So, first thing I'm going to do is select this right here. Whoops. Black and white box. It'll automatically put black and white up in there. Transparency all the way down, that way black ain't even visible anymore. And then I'm going to go to Effects, Render, Clouds. And right here, you can set the scale and the roughness of the clouds. It's whatever you want. I'm going to leave it right there, click OK. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this layer. So I'm going to hit Control A to select all, Control C, and then I'm going to add a new layer, and then hit Control V to paste it. And then I'm going to click back on that original cloud layer and uncheck it so it ain't even visible anymore. And then I'm going to select a new cloud layer, set the transparency over here back up to 255, because if you leave it at 0, if you try to erase anything it ain't going to work, or try to color anything it obviously ain't going to draw anything, nothing visible at least. Now I'm going to go to Gradient, select Radial Gradient, Transparency Mode still, and then look for a bunch of clouds you like, and then pull it back. Select it, select the center and pull it back. Okay, now right there will be good, so I'm going to hit Control A, Control C to select all and copy. And what I'm going to do with this layer right here, I'm going to center it right over this blue thing. And that'll be good. And then I'm going to take this layer right here and I'm going to bring it all the way down until it's right below that blue thing. That way the clouds are right up underneath this. Then I'm going to go to layer 2 again where that blue thing's at. And I'm going to add a new layer right above it so that this next layer is going to end up being right below this sun. And then I'm just going to hit Control V to paste it. And then I'm just going to move it right up underneath that sun. You ain't got to do it like this. You can, unless you're lazy, you could really just, get a new picture of the clouds or whatever. But for time's sake, I'm just going to do it like that. Alright, so there's that. Now you got two cool looking shapes. Now you go back to your original layer with the clouds and check it so that it's visible. And then you want to use the gradient, transparency, and radial. And just select something. Hit Control A, Control C. And you want to move this little puff of cloud or whatever down to one corner. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new layer. And I'm going to select all. Alright, and then I'm going to hit Control V to paste that little cloud back up there. And then I'm going to move it up here. And the reason why I do that is because it's extremely hard to tile clouds. I've tried, and unless you want to sit there all day, it's next to impossible getting those things to line up like pixel for pixel. And if you tile it every single time, you're gonna notice it repeating. Even using 2 puffs of it, you could tell it's repeating, especially if you go in perfectly perpendicular to it. You could tell that the thing's repeating, but it's close enough. So I'll just set it like this, and you probably want to get a different image for the clouds, obviously, because you could tell that one and that one look the exact same thing, look the exact same. So you usually don't want things to repeat in the game. In a background it don't matter, but in a game, I mean in a screensaver it doesn't matter, but in a game it does, because you could tell, your eyes can pick out stuff that's been repeated. And even though I definitely use it, because I'm just too lazy to set up a real background, because if you notice in that preview of a game, that space engine, all it does is repeat the same image over and over as soon as you travel far enough. And if these looked a little bit more similar, it might have been able to fool you because the background moves so slow, but because they're so different, you can easily tell, hey, there's the exact same thing, there's the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's about anything that's too different, it stands out. And anything that's too similar stands out as well. But anyway, there you go. That's how you do it to make your clouds for your game or a screensaver or whatever. And, well, actually, one thing I'm going to do is put these 2 clouds on the same layer by merging them down. And there you go. You could take this, separate the layers, save them all as different images. What I did was I kept all these, everything but this top layer of clouds is its own little layer. So there's only 2 layers. There's this background layer with the stars and the nebulas and stuff. Then there's the top layer with these clouds. And then I just had them scroll infinitely in both directions as you're moving around.